Rockwell Sonicrafter. We call this the noisy tool because it's annoying when it's really loud, and it's one of those jobbers that this goes back and forth like this, or you can cut underneath door frames or get in between small areas, and it just sits there and goes back and forth like that. Well, it's supposed to, but this one is having a hard time doing it, and we got to figure out what's going on with it. I'll show you what it does right now. Let me turn it on. It might be a little bit noisy, but I'll turn it on and let you see what it does. That's on. I got it plugged in, but now watch when I mess with the speed control. So it's a little flaky. So yeah, it seems like we got a flaky speed control. It's not, when you turn it to a setting, it's not holding it at that setting, so we got a bad switch or something, but I noticed we only got 3 screws here. Hopefully we can get to it just by taking those 3 out. See what's going on. Probably not. We'll probably have to take the back cover off, which would be taking out these 4 screws here also, but gotta start somewhere, right? Now, I don't know if you can replace this part or if it's one of those parts that you can't get any longer for this model because it's old. I don't know when this model came out, but I unplugged it already. Well, I didn't unplug it, I just killed the switch on the plug-in. Kind of dirty in there. Okay. Okay, there we go. Look at that. This is probably gonna be a cannot fix unless it's one of those blowout things, and hopefully it fixes it. The reason I say that is because all the electronics here is potted in there. They have I'm scraping a lot of dust off right there. That's just, you know, sawdust from cutting and stuff like that. Let me zoom it in here a little bit. Let's see, let's go like this. Yeah, that's just sawdust and stuff. But this blue stuff underneath is feels like actually silicone. It's rubber. It's rubbery. So everything's potted in that. So there's no way to get in there and tear all that out of there without ruining something. But this is the switch right here that controls the different speeds. So if that switch is bad completely, then that would need to be replaced. But with the amount of sawdust in there, maybe we could just blow that out, and maybe that would fix the problem. Spray it down a little bit with some cleaner. Of course, that'll be the first thing we try, and I'll do that, and then I'll get back with you and see how that works. So let me give that a try, and then I'll get right back with you in a second. Alright, so it took a little bit of time to clean this up. You can see all the blue now in there, all the rubber silicone or whatever they put in, dumped in there. This is the on-off switch right here. has this little piece. It goes right inside here, and that goes up the back here to our switch right here. You can see that moves up and down right there. And this is our little rotary switch right there. It's got the detents in there. It's kind of tough to turn like this. So I just vacuumed that all out real nice and everything. And then I used just some regular contact cleaner. Sprayed it in both of them. Did it sideways, you know, so just to try to get it to run any dirt that got inside there off to the side of the contacts and everything, and then just work them back and forth, because this one seemed sealed, but if it did get in there, hopefully it did, it cleaned it a little bit, so I don't know if it actually got onto the contacts, but it's worth a try. This worked fine anyway, because it did turn on and off, but this one here, I tried to get it in between there, you know, sprayed it quite a few times in there as I turned this from one end to the other, and hopefully it got it in there. I just ran it back and forth a few times, sprayed it in between the gap there, just kept running it back and forth, holding it to the side. Hopefully it was running the dirt out, but we'll see if it did any good here as soon as we put it back together and turn it on. If not, I don't think we're going to be able to do anything about it, because if we try to take it out of there, I'm sure we're going to ruin something. But it's no good the way it is, so I mean, I guess we can always try to take it out of there, but we'll see after this, I guess. So let's try to put this back together a little bit and see how it works. Now we got to line our knob up, our knob on the outside with this, because it has a flat side on it. So let's see, I'm just going to turn it that way, and I guess I could put this in here like this. Just kind of turn this up, line up right away. There we go. And in there like that. Nothing else to line up or anything. Just trying to push this together a little bit more. Guess we don't have to screw it all together. I can just hold this while we try it. Make sure it's off. Let me find the end of the plug here. Let's see if we did any good. Alright. Alright, it's plugged in. Let's turn it down on one just to go slow. Let's see if we did any good. Oh, we didn't do any good. Alright, so it doesn't look like we got in there good enough with the spray. So either that knob doesn't need to be cleaned, or it's the electronics on that board. And of course, like I said, we're really not going to be able to tell unless we can tear that board apart. And yeah, and that's probably going to be a no-go for fixing it, because we're not going to be able to pull all that stuff out of there and without taking the chance of ruining something else. But so it looks like either we could see about getting a replacement part for this here, or we just trash this whole thing. I'll talk with the person that owns it and see what they want to do with it, and then we'll go from there, and I'll let you know what they decide in a little quick snippet right after this. I played around with this a little bit without talking to the person that owned this, and you could see I got curious and I tore out all that that stuff they had in there, because it was tear this all out and see what was going on with it, or throw the whole thing away. Either way, it was probably going to go in the garbage. But I wanted to see what was wrong with it, and if I could fix this, I can just fill this back in with whatever RTV or whatever that needs to go back in here, or whatever, to get this going again. And I'm glad I did, because I think I found the problem. Not really think, I actually did find the problem. So I want to show you what the problem is on this. And it's actually a resistor that is bad. Here's some more circuitry on the back side of this. Let me zoom in just a little bit here. Oop. I'll zoom in just a little bit. Get my meter in here. Try to get this in here. I have 3 resistors down here on the bottom, and this one right here on the bottom is bad. It's actually got a crack right down the center of it, and that's the problem with it. So they're all 3 the same, and that you can kind of see this trace that's going right here. Well, this trace goes through this one, down to this one, back through this one, down to this one, back through this one, over to this resistor right here. So I'll put it on here, and you can see on the meter it's 32. If I go down here, following the path, it's 32. If I go over to this side, it adds up 65, because they're all in series. So if I go down to this one, it's 65, and now next should be 90, right? 9, and I go on the other side of here, and there's nothing. Nothing at all. If I check this by itself, you can see if I check them by themselves, 32, 32, and nothing. And I actually have a little picture here. I can show a closer view of the crack that's right down the middle, and that'll be up there. So that is the problem with this. And I tried even putting my meter on here and messing with it with my fingers, but I couldn't get it to change before, just by pressing on it. To see if I could get it to connect again, but with the power on it, it heats up a little bit or whatever and makes the little connection. That's why it works sometimes. But just doing it this way, I can't get it a good enough connection to make it work. If I press on it, so you can see it's jumping all over. But yeah, so that's the problem with this. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get me one of these, which this is a regular resistor, so I don't have these type laying around here anywhere, so I'm going to have to order me one. Alright, I was able to get some resistors. I heard 10, but we only really need 1. So we're going to replace this bottom one here, and then give it a try, see if it works. I also, if this did work, I also bought some some RTV that's will work for electronics, and it happens to be blue. Hey, look at that. So that we can put in here like we had before, if it works. But first we'll have to try this and see if it'll work, or if we find something else that might be wrong. Anybody catch that? I did. We got to get some power wires on there. I knew you'd catch it. And you were saying, look at that dummy. Forgot to put the wires on. How are you supposed to plug it in to make it work? And I knew I was going to do that. There's always something I seem to forget in the process, because I'm in such a rush to get it together, get it tried out. You know, you're excited because you figured out what a problem was, but well, that's the way I get it. Everybody cross their fingers. Let's see it go poof, or let's see it work. Down to 1. Seems like it's better. It doesn't seem perfect though. It doesn't seem perfect, but it's working better. I wonder if we should just go ahead and replace those other 2 resistors. I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to get right back to you, and we'll see if it works a little better. And if not, then we're going to go farther into it and see what else we can find. So I'll zip right through this, and you guys can follow along as I zoom through the video. So let's see. Still moving pretty fast, but I can't hold it. I don't really know what it's supposed to act like, but yeah, that's probably not normal. So my guess is we got to go a little bit farther besides that bad resistor. You agree? Alright, let's look into it a little bit further. We know we had one bad resistor. We replaced the other 2 resistors that went along with that, so there was nothing wrong with that. So we're going to take a look at it a little bit further. I did take some time and took the speed switch out of it, the little rotary switch that is right here. I popped that out of the circuit board because I wanted to see inside the switch why we couldn't get some spray in there, and yeah, the switch had this lip on there that I couldn't get spray up inside there to actually get to those contacts right there. Right down here is the resistive contacts that I was trying to get to, but there was no way to get to it because with this put together like this, it covered that up pretty good, and the fluid, the cleaning stuff just would not get in there. So we took it apart, and I have a before picture here that kind of shows you how these little pieces here went together when it was all together, and then I took it apart. This is the main, whoops, jumpy little thing. This is the main switch right there, looks like. And then once this disconnects, and then it starts with the variable speeds there. I think that's how it was when I was playing with it. Yeah, I think that's the high. When you flip it on high, this just connects, so it's just all full power. So then when you go on the variable speeds, this opens up, and then it starts using these right here to go through the circuitry, and that's where the resistors come in handy, and all this other stuff comes in to vary the speeds and all that kind of stuff for it. But yeah, I'm gonna put this back together, put this back in there, give it one more try, and see if maybe that was it. It was pretty dirty in here, and it looks like it's pretty clean now. I did clean it up and everything, so I'm going to throw it together, and we'll put it in there and give it another shot and see if that was the problem. Because like I said, we did change the resistor, we changed the broken resistor, and then we changed the other two just for shits and giggles to see if that did anything, and it didn't. But well, the broken resistor did something, but so let me put this back together here. Nope. That has nothing to do with it. Boy, it stops completely now. Gee, our on-off switch. Is our on-off switch flaky? Do we need to take that one apart and clean it? Maybe that's our next bet, huh? I barely touch it and it comes on. Alright, you know what that means. Boy, they got that blue stuff all up inside the switch too. Why in the heck they got it up there? It must have been running all up in there. Look at that. I think they flooded it a little bit too much in there, huh? Well, that's where that was sitting. So it must be sitting in there like that, right? because there is some little detent things right here in the side on both sides. They're not contacts, but I'm assuming that's what holds it in place though. When you flip the switch, them things would hold this in place, otherwise it'd just slide all over the place. Let's lift this out here gently. There's the little triangle that holds, that actually moves this brass piece here. It looks like brass to me. It makes and breaks this contact right here by going forward and then backwards, just by moving it like this, forward, back, or forward, backwards, forward, backwards, that little triangle that goes in this side. So that's how it makes the contact right there. Something very simple. No, it couldn't be that difficult, right? Sure does look a little burnt there, but let's get the old magnifier glass out here and see what it looks like. It looks dark, but normal for what it's switching. It's got grease right there, that's why that looks dirty. See what the other side looks like. I can't really tell because I don't have enough light on it, but it looks good. There's no big old pits or anything in it. Looks like it could handle being cleaned up just a little bit. So let's get back to where this is put back. Let's skip forward to where this is all put back in there, and instead of you wasting your time with me doing all this, and get on to the next thing. So after a long while of looking at this, or what seemed like a long while of looking at this, I ended up looking at this without the camera rolling, and I figured out what the problem was, and I actually have a couple pictures that I'll put up here, and remember when I was pressing on the board and it was acting funny, like it was working, then I let it go and stuff like that. You know, sometimes you do that and things act up, and usually it's a bad connection somewhere. Well, I had a bad connection on the main chip here, and there's a couple pictures here that shows that two of the legs were they were desoldered. The solder around the legs had broke, and that was why it wasn't working. So I resoldered those two legs. I kind of reflowed the solder on all the legs there, and everything worked out fine. I just had a hard time seeing those because all that blue junk that they had covering the whole board and everything, it just made it hard to see that. But yeah, that was the problem. Besides the broken resistor, that was the main problem. The other problem is these two, the number 1 and number 18 leg on this chip were, well, and the next two were pretty bad too, but that's why I just did all of them. I resoldered all of them. So yeah, and it seems to work pretty good. If you're interested, this is the chip. I'll put up the diagram from the data sheet from it. It's a U211B3, and it's what is it? The controller. I got it on my phone here. It's the controller for this whole thing, pretty much. But yeah, if you wanted to look that up, it's the what I say it was, U211B3. That's what that is. So yeah, just wanted to show you that. But yeah, I can throw this together real quick and let you hear exactly what it's supposed to sound like, and move on to the next thing. Yeah, I'll probably end up going and I'll put the blue junk back in there. Not that it really helped it, because the vibration broke the legs loose anyway, as you can see. But I guess I can put that stuff back in there and make it the way it was, but we'll just put this on and do this for right now. Oop. Alright, so here it is, and then we can finally complete this video. Ready for some noise? We'll start out low. Start it out on 1. Go. Nice and steady. Turn it up. Full blast. So that's the way it's supposed to sound, nice and steady. So there you go. If you run into that problem where it's not acting the way it's supposed to, check that chip, make sure all the legs are soldered in, make sure the resistors aren't broke like it was in this one. But yeah, you just have to dig through all that blue junk, because remember, like I said, you can't buy parts for these. Or this particular one you can't. But yeah, if I'm forgetting anything, I'll make sure I add it in the video when I process the video. But yeah, there we go. I'm glad we got this one to work. Alright, we'll see you in the next one.